right, looks like we're recording now. Attendees, welcome everybody. If you're trickling in, thanks for joining us.
Oh, I can see the attendees list, Marissa. If you click on participants.
See a lot of familiar names. Welcome. Oh, thanks, Jacqueline. You can hear us, great. We will, so we're recording now, which I guess we'll just jump right in, right? I think so disclaimer, this is the first time we're using a webinar feature, so we're excited, ready to go. If you have any questions throughout the whole thing, feel free, add something in the chat, just like a typical Zoom, but also the Q&A feature as well. And especially if you're someone who's familiar with Space Grant, hi Eric, thanks for joining. If you're familiar with some of these programs, if you're a veteran of some of these programs, feel free to type in and just give your own input, and I guess we'll have a great discussion. All right, ready to start? Caitlin, you good?
Good.
All right. So before we jump into all the awesome, fun NASA opportunities that you as North Dakota students can get involved in, we'll just do a quick introduction. I'll start. My name's Marissa Sad. I'm the Deputy Director, so I help facilitate and manage all the programs and help be an advocate for all of you students.
And I'm Caitlin, and I am the Director of the North Dakota Space Grant Consortium, so everything that Marissa said.
Yes. And I guess as a big umbrella statement, anything that we show you today, we are advocates for you. So if you have further questions at any time, email us, reach out, we'll Zoom with you. Our job here is to help you. And all right, I am going to share my screen. And I should say all of these opportunities, because they're funded by NASA, all students need to be US citizens and have at least a GPA of 3.0. And as long as you're studying something STEM education, or your type of work is related to STEM, you're good to go. So I'm going to open this one. We're going to start on our website. We like to feature this just as a great landing spot in case you have any questions. If you visit ndspacogrant.und.edu, this is where we feature all of our main, most popular research opportunities. If you scroll down, right, the front landing spot is a whole timeline of our deadlines. That way we know you might not have the time and just patience to go through every single tab and just look up when the deadlines are. They're here, right here for you. If you look where we are, we're a little bit past November 15th. We recently just had a student competition team deadline. So wherever you are, if you're looking for summer opportunities, spring, you know, we're heading into this, getting ready for the spring funding opportunities, just check this out and just give you a nice ballpark summary. So one thing that is most popular and the window to apply is currently open is NASA internships. So I guess we'll start there. This is where our usual path. So if you're a student who has always dreamed of working with NASA, related to NASA, do a co-op, maybe eventually get a job with NASA, an internship is a really great place to start. So every summer, and this year is different because of COVID and how everything's more online, we are now opening up your opportunity to apply for not just summer, but spring and fall. So I guess now it would just be spring. So consider any semester, no matter where you are in the year. And if you do want to get involved, we support a handful, we'll say 6 to 8, 6 to 10, depending on our yearly budget, undergrads or grads to go attend a NASA center. And so here's the stipend amount. If you're undergrad, you'll get $7,300. Graduate, $9,000, and that covers, you know, lodging, travel, because we also offer an additional $500. Real handy. If you're interested in this, what you would do is, we are in the window to apply, October through March 1st. NASA mentors post opportunities all throughout this window. It's a first come, first served basis. So if you check right now and there's nothing to apply to that you're interested in, please check back later. And you're able to apply on this website, which we'll visit real soon, to up to 15 positions. we in North Dakota, we highly recommend you to apply for all 15, even if you're done after your top 3. That just makes your application way more appealing. And because I said it's first come, first serve, if those positions just suddenly get taken, you'll keep working through progress through your list. February 1st is going to be our internal deadline for when we scan all of the North Dakota applications and select the top 6 to 8, 6 to 10 for funding. So if you get offered funding by us, it's not a guarantee for a position, but your application is that much more attractive for NASA mentors, NASA advisors, because they don't have to pay for you. It's just how it goes. Oops, sorry, I just opened 2 of these. So if you go to intern.nasa.gov, this is where you go first if you're interested in an internship. They have such great information. They have past tutorials, how to apply. They have testimonials. So what you do is apply here, do your list. You can specify where you want to go. Let me go to the map. Go all around the country. They are highlighting a lot of virtual internships. So if you don't want to travel per se, that's understandable right now. Definitely keep pursuing an internship if that still is attractive to you. So you would highlight where you're willing to go. It's all flexible, it's up to you, what subject area you're interested in. And it's not just STEM. We have lots of North Dakota students have done communications, video producing, and all across the board, social media, education. So you don't have to do necessarily hardcore blank, physics or engineering, the technical roles. You would apply to as many positions, and your specific, the ones that you want, you can select those. After that, after you make your application, answer all the essays, you would go to our step 2, apply with us, apply through North Dakota. And what that's going to do is open a form that just tells us your top 15, what they're called, what center they're at. Because after that, once we select our top 6 to 10, we reach out on behalf of you. We advocate for you. We call up each NASA center and say, hey, these X amount of students, we're funding them if you select them. And that just increases the odds and chances that you're going to get selected. So that's in a nutshell. There's a lot more information here. I highly encourage you to check out our page, really dive deep into NASA's internship page, because you can save your app and come back whenever. You need to get letters of rec, so start doing that ASAP whenever you make your account. And we do, in North Dakota, we have a lot of students who have done this before. They say it's been a great, amazing experience. So if you have questions, I bet they'd love to help you too. Awesome. So we're gonna stop there on internships. If you have questions specific to that, it's like a crash course of internship application information. Are there any questions in the chat, or let's see. I don't think there are. Caitlin, do you see any questions? Okay. So in the interest of time, we will jump to one of the other most popular research opportunities, which is a research fellowship. So if you do not want to travel and you still want to have something NASA related on your resume, gain research experience, check out these research fellowships. These are offered every single semester. We have one, you would click student fellowships. Depending on what grade, what program you're in, undergrad or grad, different stipend amount. It's just based on the weeks in the semester. Summer semester is 10 weeks, so obviously it's a little less than the fall and spring. We offer guidance on how you would find a mentor, which we're willing to help match you with someone. If you have a favorite professor that's, ooh, I love this line of work, I want to get my foot in the door and get involved with this, you would open this up, application guidance. And what we are asking for is just typical resume, letter of recommendation. Are you capable of doing said work? And then we're interested, what's the science? What are you going to do? What's your methodology? What's your timeline? Why is it relevant to NASA? Why should you get the NASA funds? And we like to highlight that this is very important, because if you come to us with let's say a physics, some rocketry proposal, we know that rocketry is very relevant to NASA, but in the sense of keeping everyone on the same playing field, we have a rubric. We're gonna ask why you think everything is pertinent, especially in this Artemis generation. And then we want to know what's your short-term and long-term academic and career goals. You will be representing NASA in North Dakota. So that's all that. So once you know a professor, an advisor, you know what, how to apply, consider when you want to do the research. This is an entire semester-long process. So right now, the closest deadline would be to prepare for the spring, which is December 1st. And at the end, you just do a final report. Just tell us how your research went, your conclusions, ideas for the future, a typical scientific report. This is very popular. If you do want to check out past fellowships, I would direct you to our Aurora newsletter. I'm not going to open each one just because the file is so huge. Every single year we produce basically like a yearbook, but we send these to NASA personnel, NASA VIPs, our congressional delegates. We thank the federal and state government for all the funds. So everyone who has received any kind of funding is featured here. Go check out the NASA internships, the fellowship titles, their subject content. It's a good starting place. Any questions on fellowships? Because we also, that same gig that I just shared, Fellowship Bridge. If you are transitioning from, let's say, a 2-year to a 4-year program, if you're graduating from your undergrad and you are going into a North Dakota-based grad program, if you're transitioning into one program to another, you can apply, do the same type of fellowship program I just talked about, and it can be a 2-week course, it can be just something to get your foot in the door of your next program. We want you to become familiar with the faculty. If you're on campus, we want to get, if you're moving, to a different school, get comfortable with that campus. So same type of application guidance, and that's over the summer. So same type of research foundation there. Okay. So that's the NIFs, as NASA calls them, internships and fellowships. If you're interested in scholarships, because we are a statewide program, we have a whole plethora here. There's some that are only female students are eligible if you have a 3.5 or above GPA. That is the Lillian Gettler Scholarship. That's for NDSU students. The Pearl Young is for female UND students, and those are due February 15th. If you open each one up, all the information is here, your guidance, application guidance, letters of rec guidance, and the apply now button to apply for the scholarship. And both of those are $2,500. If you're not from those two research universities, we have the American Indian Scholarship and we have undergrad scholarships. Both of those are, you would seek them out through that school, your home institution's financial aid office. They do the selection and then we just send them the funds. So definitely check those out. The American Indian Scholarship, that the amount varies, but they're, well, that one's $2,500, sorry, but the undergrad ones, those vary depending on how much they want to award to each student. We also have a scholarship for college-aged students who are eligible for programs that are issued through the School for the Blind. So if you are blind, have low vision, we do have another scholarship for that. There's an essay, and that's for $2,500 as well. Okay, so we have all the NIFs. If you are doing some fellowship or the internship and you do some body of work, let's say you want to share at a conference. Right now, these are you're still eligible to apply for a travel grant, but it's not for in-person travel. It would be covering registration costs or just online expenses. So once the world goes back to, air quotes, normal, you can travel and get funded for up to $1,000. That can cover your hotel, rental car, airfare, you name it, as long as it gets you from point A to point B. Now for these, you have to be actively presenting work. So, it's always fun. You learn a lot if you just attend a conference, you sit in the back of, you just attend and watch and absorb and learn. These, you would have to be presenting yourself, or if it's like, let's say, a workshop where you're getting hands-on and getting practical experience and knowledge that you're taking back to North Dakota, that can count as well. These have no deadlines because it's rolling. You don't really know necessarily when you're going to get something accepted, when these conferences pop up. So you just apply now. We ask for a 2-week heads up. So let's see. Caitlin, can I just if you see a question, just shout out.
Sure. I was just responding to Kayla's question regarding the applications on the submittable page. And I think what she's referring to is we need to make some of those live. When I go, it looks like the travel grant one and the fellowship. So Kayla, we'll make sure that we make those applications live for you in the submittable platform.
Yes.
And then I see Eric has a question now too. Recruit students. Is there a process for the State Historical Society of North Dakota to recruit students to work with Pablo or someone to consider development of materials from the Mars research that could be installed in the Inspiration Gallery? Yes, Eric, I think that is something that our STEM ambassadors can work on for you too, so we can have a conversation on that. And then I think we've talked about that too with the fellowships, potential fellowship students. So yes, Eric, for sure, and we can definitely move forward on that.
Thanks, Caitlin.
Mm-hmm.
And to speak to the submittable one, if there is something that is not live when it should be, just email us. We do take them down just so we don't get applications 10 months before they're even eligible. So thank you. So this is a new opportunity for students as of this year. So it's different than a research fellowship, which, as you remember me saying, it was a semester-long project working with a faculty member. So if you are interested in earning a student mini grant, this can help your research that specifically is tied to something, a culminating project such as to need to graduate, such as a dissertation, a thesis, an end capstone, something that you might need materials or like travel to complete your work. So there are 2 deadlines for this, fall and spring. We ask for a statement of support. It's just an advisor, a professor who's overseeing your thesis or your dissertation, just to say, yes, this is valid and this is actual work that's going on. We just need something in writing for NASA purposes. So there's an apply now here. It's, like I said, our first year doing it. It's meant to help you graduate. So if you're a chemistry student, you need a bunch of new glassware, that's not necessarily something you can get, we can't support that with just the research fellowship. So just the fiscal differences, I guess. Okay, we have we have a few new mini grants, but this is, I think, the only one that applies for you guys as students. We also have student projects. These are still very popular, even though a lot of students are doing remote involvement stuff. If you are interested, across the state, right here on the website, we're only featuring NDSU and UND ones, but anyone can create a competition team, such as a lot of the engineering design build flies. We have drone competitions. We have the Formula One SAE competition. They build a race car, and it's really awesome. We have more engineering design challenges, and the last one featured here is rocketry. There's a few other rocketry ones too. A lot are available all across the STEM pipeline. So if you get a team together, you want to compete, if it's NASA related or something in that sphere, in that realm, as long as it's a year-long challenge where you come together and you do a design program, and perhaps you need to travel to go do this culminating launch mission, you name it. I'm gonna scroll back up. You just apply now. The next opportunity to do this is next year. We 3 days ago just had our first deadline for this academic year. But these are a lot of fun, and it really builds and strengthens your resume. Let's see, we have other ones. Right now our ballooning program is paused, but that's a similar university student project. So if you have any sort of question on, does this count, is this eligible, just let us know. We have the funding here set aside for a reason, to help give you that experiential learning opportunities. Our STEM ambassador program, I know we have a few online right now. This is a exponentially growing program. It's a lot of fun. If you are interested in either K-12 outreach, just informal education outreach, getting NASA's message to the North Dakota citizenry, this is a program for you. We pay flexible hours. You can work whenever you want, up to you, and you get $15 per hour, which is pretty awesome. And so we, as in Space Grant, will train you, we'll supply all the activities, material costs, and it's kind of a self-directed and coachable program, whereas a lot of our students come up with the ideas of what to do for outreach on their own. They're awesome, and they take it and run. Caitlin and I will guide and say, hey, here's a bunch of different activities that you could do. Like right now, our STEM ambassadors are just dominating our social media presence. They're making lesson plans, they're working with schools. Prior to this year, our STEM ambassadors went into the schools all the time, leading as guest speakers, that kind of thing. It's a real fun position. And so if you're interested, you would just apply now. The next deadline to do this is in the summer, April 15th. That's when the deadline is for that one. If you're interested, if you have other summer plans, say you're doing a NASA internship, going home, doing something else, we would encourage you to apply on June 1st for the following fall semester. I don't know if any STEM ambassadors want to jot a line or two in the Q&A, or the chat, I should say, if you like it, what you kind of do. But this is really rewarding, especially not to highlight your resume, but it does help your resume. Put on that you were a NASA Outreach STEM ambassador. Okay, I think we're kind of wrapping up. Those are like the major projects. If you are interested, we have everything linked here. Of course, the apply now buttons are on every page, but if you're just interested in, ooh, I know what it's called, let me go to the apps, everything's here. Email us for any questions all the time. We're here to help advocate for you, get you involved with NASA. Let's see, research funding. I think I went through everything that's pertinent. Caitlin, just jump in if you think I forgot any. Just going through our website. We do, let me pull up, I'm gonna go to the bottom. Let me go to our homepage. If you do check, we have this thing at the bottom. It's our blogs, our news page, all our major events that we do, all of our workshops, our teacher stuff, everything goes here. So today has a page. So if you go here, go to the bottom, I've linked our brochure. It's everything that I just presented on our website, including faculty information, educator information. So if you have any friends, colleagues, if they're pursuing their teacher's license or they are a teacher, I'd encourage them to seek out there. We fund everyone across the STEM pipeline, no matter what age they are. Our website's here. That internship page is up there, but if you Google NASA internship, you'll find that too. And our brochure. It's just has a lot more pictures. Everything's consolidated in here. Pretty large. Maybe I won't open this, so it might crash my Zoom. So yeah, all of our students are featured here. Contact information. I didn't highlight before, but definitely follow us on social media. It's all educational posts. We really highlight the deadlines compared to risking if you catch it or not in an email form. You never know if those trickle down through the networks. A little bit about us. And it goes through all the same information, like this one specifically is internships. So I won't scroll through the whole thing, but that's a resource for you too. If you do transfer or do something else, let me go back to the top. There are space grants in every single state, and they're charged with the same mission that we do, help bring students into the NASA world, the STEM world. If you know, or if you become just a completely online student, as long as you're enrolled, you still are eligible. You don't have to be in person in North Dakota. All right. I know a lot of us are still working remote right now too, but I should add, if you're ever on the UND campus, you want to stop by. Our offices are in Clifford Hall. We're on the second floor. You won't miss us. It's the big NASA meatball right there in the front of the window. We have posters, NASA stickers, all the fun swag. You're welcome to stop by. Maybe wait a little bit until people are back in the offices. Let's see. I see a lot of notifications popping up. I don't have these boxes open. I assume Caitlin's on here.
Yeah, Marissa, there's been a couple of questions, but I've been kind of answering them as they pop into the chat. But yes, if you all have any questions, please put them in the chat or the Q&A feature, and Marissa and I will be happy to answer those questions for you.
Yeah, and it's good, like I said, follow us on social media. because we do a lot of extra programming too. We collaborate with other space grants. We might do these unique opportunities, if you want to call them that. Like last year, we called the International Space Station. We talked to Christina Cook with our middle school Sci Girls program, these awesome, memorable things. And if you want to just watch, be a part of, help volunteer, you know, say, hey, this is our second time calling the ISS, or we have a bunch of VR headsets. We do a lot of career fairs. We travel the state. Well, we did. So we have these other unique opportunities too that are just a lot of fun.
And I could tag on to what Marissa's saying there too, where if you have some sort of STEM or NASA relevant project or research that you think would be eligible for funding from Space Grant, but you can't quite find a program that you really think it fits under, you can always email us and let us know and ask if there's any sort of program that aligns with that or could support that or fund that. Because that's how some of these programs have actually been born, was students saying, hey, I would like some funding to help buy some like regolith for some of my research. And now we have the college student mini grants. So if you have certain projects that you don't see specifically defined in our list, always reach out and ask.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So I suppose if people don't have questions, our contact information is on the website. Marissa, do you want to pull that up quick, maybe? You can always reach out to us after the fact. And we're happy to answer other questions that might arise that you haven't thought of yet. And we see some of our STEM ambassadors posting more things. Tori posted and Jacqueline posted. It's a really fun opportunity for you to be a part of a NASA team as a student and still be working on your classes in North Dakota.
Mm-hmm. Oh, I don't know if I could add, Caitlin, did you answer Jacob McCoy's question? The students that apply, we sometimes get like 25, 30 applications, and then we'll select, like Caitlin said, 6 to 8. Sometimes it was 10, depending on the budget. But I would say what Caitlin said, 6 to 8. It might be on the lower side now, just on what year we're in. Definitely apply, and apply again if you don't get something on your first try, if you're, you know, underclassmen, perhaps. All right. Well, I think that's it for our core programming. If you're welcome to stay on, ask us questions, take note of our emails here. Awesome. Is B bachelor's? Finishing my B. Okay. But yeah, like Caitlin said, you're welcome to log off now if you have no other questions. And I think that's we'll wrap up the core of our discussion. Thank you for attending. Thanks, Will. Thanks, Joshua. Thanks, Tori. I'm going to close the chat if I don't say goodbye. I'm not ignoring you.